I started volunteering.
It's all about who you know in sport.
Am I going to be calling the last 10 seconds of the grand final?
You can connect with the interviewer. The hand goes up when they've got to make a decision.
Having a network is one of the most important things you can do.
I didn't necessarily follow my passion. I followed my curiosity.
Once you've worked in sport, there's no going back.
And then lo and behold, before I left, I got offered two.
Hello and welcome to the SportsGrad podcast, the ultimate guide to make it in the sports industry. I am Ryan Walker. Joining me is the versatile Ruben Williams. We are two mates who met at Cricket Australia, and each week we learn how people made it in sports. We tease out their career decisions, their work habits, skills, and everything they do that makes them great, all so that you can learn how to get in, get promoted, and get thriving in the sports industry. Rubes, how are you, mate?
Mate, I'm doing well. Thank you, Ryan. It's been a huge second week in London with the Ashes wrapped up at Lord's, and then we had our Meetup as well. Then went off to Wimbledon, and I can tell you the English are not very happy that they have lost the Lord's Test. And if you show that you are an Australian cricket fan in any way, sense or form, they let you know what they think.
So it's fair to say you've put away the Australian one-day shirt.
Oh no! I've just brought it out even more. So I was wearing my Australian Test kit at Wimbledon yesterday, and I would walk through the precinct, and about every 15 meters, someone would yell out "cheat," or someone under their breath, not too loud, because not all the Wimbledon crowd get around the cricket, but there's just one cricket fan every so often, and they would calmly start singing, "We saw you cry on the telly," or "Same old Aussies always cheating." And every single time I just had to turn around and say to them, 2-0, thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd do. It's 2-0, unlucky, and we move on. It's we'll get onto this shortly, but it's quite funny. I love it. Everyone here thinks it was totally fair, and everyone otherwise thinks we're cheaters. So it's it is quite funny, but we will get onto that shortly when we wrap up. If you haven't already, follow us on LinkedIn, and if you want to connect with us and over 550 other people working in sport, become a member of the SportsGrad community. Speaking of the community, Ruse, plenty happening at the moment. What's stood out for you?
Always. Well, a couple of legends who have been around the community for a while have just added their name to the tally of people who are joining the FIFA Women's World Cup. So, Tanishka, well done to you joining the ticket resolution team as an assistant there for the FIFA Women's World Cup. And Nitin as well, venue coordinator at the FIFA Women's World Cup. So I think we must be approaching 30 odd people, I think, who have got jobs there. So the community is seriously going to be everywhere you look when the World Cup hits.
We need to get I've been thinking about this, we need to get a photo, a big screenshot of everyone who's in there, because honestly, one's popping up every second day. It's crazy. So I reckon we are nearly at 30.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Yeah. So well on to you guys. Lots of events always coming up. We've just had Unisport Australia come and do their job fair, and tonight we've got a speed networking event where you can jump online and meet a bunch of people very, very quickly, which has moved to Monday nights after a bit of research, Ryan. And this is a good lesson for everybody in how to, create what your audience or customer needs. So we've traditionally been running these events on like a Wednesday night or maybe a Wednesday lunchtime. We asked the community, when is the best time of the week that you would like these networking events? And Monday night was by far the most popular time slot. So we've swapped the event. Turns out Wednesday night wasn't that popular at all. So we should see a big uptick in attendance tonight. So if you're around, make sure you jump on that. And if you want to email from us with updates on how people are getting jobs in sport, different parts of the industry being explained by experts out there, make sure you jump on our newsletter. sportsgrad.com.au/newsletter is where you can grab that and subscribe.
Amazing. Yeah, I love the research that we did, and it's funny how when you just ask your customer what you want, you sometimes get the answer you're looking for. So a good learning, and Monday nights is now a big SportsGrad night. So it's podcast in the morning, event at night. It's pretty exciting. So it's all happening. Aiming for a future in sport? Be ready to transform the industry. Study with Deakin and be prepared to redefine what it means to work in sport. Deakin's School of Exercise and Nutrition Science is ranked number 1 in the world. So if you want to turn your passion for sport into an impactful career, get ready to push the limits of exercise and sports science, sports coaching, sport development, sports management, nutrition science, physical education, and more. Apply now to study at Deakin in 2023. Mate, tell us about the meetup. So for those who weren't aware, we had a London meetup last week. It looked insane. And for also everyone's context, we've never done an event outside of Australia and India. So first European, serious international event. And it looked incredible. But you were the man on the ground. Give us a bit of a review of how it all went, because it just looked incredible.
Yeah, it was sensational. And there was a bit of panic stations at one point when I arrived at our original venue, and I looked inside and it looked like it was only going to comfortably fit 30 people, and I saw we had 128 registrations. So, and what was quite funny is when I went to check the diary of the booking, they opened it up and said, Ruben, 25 people, which is what I first told them way back when we thought about how many people might attend the London meetup. So, we got over more than 100 people than we first expect attending the event. So, no, it was good. We started a bit early so people could come straight from work at about 5 o'clock, and we had a great mix of professionals and students. A lot of people from Loughborough University and UCFB turn out over there, which is really, really promising. A lot of Australians working in sport as well who had probably heard of sport or been more aware of SportsGrad through what they've seen over here in the past. So we were lucky enough to have some really good people in town for the event. So James Seeley is the head of participation at the AFL. Stu Wiley, former head of participation at Cricket Australia, now doing other special projects. Both of those guys were in attendance. So for people to be able to meet someone in that space was absolutely incredible. I was talking to a few people and I said, like, if you love sport and you want to go down the path of growing the game or growing your favourite sport, these two are doing that in the two biggest sports in Australia, and they just happen to be in London during the week of our meetup and in attendance for people to mix with. So that was really, really cool. We had people there from EPL clubs, or people there from agency land. So it was just a really nice, good mix of people. And then one thing that we did on the night a little bit differently was run this like Q&A style panel that was similar to what we did in Melbourne, July 2022, like very sort of spontaneous and off the cuff. So what I basically did was say, guys, we're gonna meet a few people here tonight, because at these events sometimes you don't really know who's who or who to talk to. So the purpose of breaking it up was to introduce people in the crowd so you could see who should I talk to. So I'd get up there and I'd introduce Sam Bell from Adelaide and Min from Adelaide, and say, here's a couple of SportsGrad members who've travelled from Adelaide to London. They've also been to a Melbourne meetup. So now there happen to be a couple other people in the crowd from Adelaide who are like, all right, I'll go chat to those people. Later on in the night, I got this girl, Bethan, up the front, because I'd chatted with her and she'd been working at the Manchester City Football Club since she was 16. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Jeez. Anyway, now I asked her, like, what's your favourite sport? And she goes, oh, look, I love football, but I'm really into Formula One. I'd love to get into Formula One. And so I said, all right, Ben from the agency We Are Grip, can you please come up the front, please? And so this guy, Ben, comes up the front. I ask him, Ben, what do you do? I work in Formula One. Oh, great. Well, you guys should talk.
Yeah.
So being able to like make those connections for people kind of it was almost as the entertainment. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's cool." Now they're going to chat. And something might come of it. So Bethan and Ben had a great chat. Who else is there? Oh, there was Sophie from St Andrews Golf Course. She like runs all the events out there.
If you could pass on her details to me, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to play there.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah.
But then people like her were travelling from like the north of England, like literally catching a train 3 hours to attend this event, which I thought was wild. Another guy came from like right down south in Plymouth to be there too. He even showed me his associate members Marylebone Cricket Club pass because he was off to the cricket the next day, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." As an MCC member in Melbourne, it's good to compare the systems over here.
Yeah.
So the people there were great. Good mix of students, good mix of professionals, good mix of Aussies, good mix of English people. So made for a really good night, and I don't think we wrapped up until about 10:30 or so. So people were keen to hang around, which was terrific.
No, I love it. It sounds like that might be the version of the panel going forward, is just ripping people out from different organisations and putting them on the spot and putting them out for everyone to see.
Yeah, totally. Like I was a bit worried, like, oh, people are going to appreciate being put on the spot, but everyone could talk about themselves totally fine.
Yeah.
But it was actually really fun from my point of view, just being like, I don't know where this is going to go or what they're going to say, but it could be fun.
Yeah. No, I love it. Love it. Incredible. And I see we've already created another one in October. Given the success of this one, it's pretty exciting to be able to just go and run another one, and hopefully more people can come along, and also people who have met people at this event can catch up with them in a couple of months' time. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, so we want to keep the momentum of London going. So yeah, second event is immediately available on the 12th of October. And someone asked me like, "Oh, Ruben, were you in town for the cricket or were you in town for the Meetup? Because it seems like you have events around all these sporting events." I'm like, yeah, we just follow the sporting calendar. We put the events on around the calendar. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, that's the thinking.
Yeah. So the 13th of October is Australia versus England in the soccer at Wembley. So the night before we're having a meetup, of course.
Oh, that's so good. Nice. Jeez. Well, that's going to be incredible. And I'm very tempted to go. Anyway. No, very good. Very good. Good to see that was a success, and looks like SportsGrad in London is alive and well. So that's super exciting for us. Second part of today, I want to hear about Wimbledon. Now, I hear you had a unique experience, but a good experience.
Yeah, so I almost feel a bit jet lagged today with how exhausted I am from Wimbledon yesterday. But like I was really looking forward to it because I've never been to Wimbledon before, and it was like a bucket list thing to tick off. But then, and I don't mind waiting around a long time, but the queue at Wimbledon is a big tradition. Like there's still an allotment of tickets available on the day, and you line up for them. But this year, apparently, security measures were a lot tighter, which meant that this line was moving a lot slower. So traditionally, apparently, if you get there at about 5 or 6 in the morning, usually in the gate by 11. I think play starts at 11. But this year, we got there at 6 a.m. We didn't get into the grounds until 2:30 p.m., which is 8.5 hours later. And I can tell you, I was in a bit of a state by that point.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What? I actually don't know what to say to that. Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, and I know you look at Wimbledon like it's this incredibly prestigious event. Like it shouldn't take out 8.5 hours to get inside the door. Like the MCG gets 100,000 people on grand final day inside within an hour. Surely there are ways for someone like the Lawn Tennis Association to get everyone in quickly.
Yeah, it seems like a really, why is that happening? And there has to be a better system than having to line up. To be honest, even lining up at 6 a.m. for an event is ridiculous, to be honest. And getting in by 10:30, 11, that's still like a 4.5, 5 hour wait. Like 8 hours is just simply, incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of it was because we were waiting for it to move forward, not because we were waiting for the gates to open. Like, you would line up outside the MCG on grand final day if you're a full MCC member, but you're in the line for hours because the gates are shut. But then once they're open, it's like you're in pretty quick.
Yeah.
So that was a bit frustrating. It did make me appreciate the sports industry in Australia. I think we do things pretty good back home. I probably won't be complaining about a line at the MCG ever again.
Yeah.
And then just to make matters worse, once we got inside, it started raining immediately.
Oh God.
So
what the hell? Sounds like a disaster.
Yeah. So we got through that period, and then we were just bunkered down on court 9, where there were 3 Australians playing back to back, which kept us entertained for the rest of the day. But the Wimbledon vibe inside the arena is very similar to Lord's, in that it's made for the tennis purists, which I'm not. So I can understand, if you've been to Wimbledon for 20 years, you're like, the queue's a tradition, we've got to keep it going. I can understand that. I'm not a tennis purist.
Yeah.
So once you're inside, like, there's obviously a lot of tennis going on, but it's not like the Australian Open where it's like a big event, lots of activations happening. Every single brand has got a different stall. You've got Grand Slam Oval with food and drinks and music and all this different stuff going on. There's very little of that. So the main hangout place to watch the tennis is Henman Hill, which has got these great shots of people on the grass eating and drinking, but they've only really got like one PIMS activation tent going on next to it. Which I was like, if this was the Australian Open, like, you'd have like 4 different beer brands and spirit brands and seltzer brands like activating all the way around it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Finn Bradshaw, who we had on the pod in episode 50, head of digital at the ICC. He was previously head of digital at Tennis Australia for a brief moment. And he was telling us about like the fortnight competitions that they were running at the Australian Open. There's none of that at Wimbledon. It's like you're there for the tennis, have a good time, have some lovely food, have some great drink, but it's like, this is a tennis event.
It's for the purists.
Yeah, exactly. So
interesting.
Like, very similar sort of vibe to Lord's, except the facility at Wimbledon is, way newer. Like, the facility, once you're inside, it's lovely. Like, the flowers are nice. Like, the garden is just immaculate.
Yeah.
The building is incredible too. Like, it's a very new facility, so it looks stunning. But gosh, you better like some tennis.
Yeah. Does everyone wear white, like the players?
Yeah. So the players are fully white, but spectators can wear whatever you want.
Yeah. I can imagine it'd be a proper crowd,
Yeah.
Shirts tucked in, collar shirt. There's there's no thongs. It's pretty serious operation.
Yeah, exactly. And not that many people either like dressed up to support their country either. It's like, you are wearing smart casual or you're not going. Yeah. Except for me, who was wearing my Australian Test cable knit jumper and my baggy green.
You would have stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Like, was there anyone else rocking that?
No, not at all. Like, I saw one Australian one-day kit, but other than that, like, it was just me. So the English people were like, were calling me a cheater. The Aussie people were calling me Pat Cummins. There was one lady who I think I genuinely confused as Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
And get this, she wanted a photo with me.
Oh no.
And so this like 55-year-old South African woman got a photo with me thinking I was Pat Cummins.
Oh my God. No, the worst thing there is you let that happen. You accepted that.
Well, I was just like, she didn't ask. Like,
Yeah, can do.
She didn't ask, "Are you Pat Cummins?" She didn't. She just kind of said like, "Oh, can I get a photo, Pat?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Oh my god, she just assumed it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually quite a compliment to you though, because Pat's a good-looking rooster. So to be, I guess, mistakenly thought of as him, I think that's a great result for you.
Yeah, and I also bowl 140 k's an hour, so the comparisons are there.
Wheels and big roo, so good result all round.
Yeah, but then I bumped into our friend Shane Leonarch.
Great friend of the show.
Excellent friend. For those who don't know Shane, we worked together at Cricket Australia. He was a data analyst there. He's gone on to start his own performance analyst company called Data Driven Insights, and he now works with professional tennis players. So he said that he was looking after, I think, 7 players at Wimbledon, and then his team of analysts were helping another 5. So his company's now got 13 clients playing at Wimbledon, which is amazing for him. He's doing so well for himself, and with his biggest client being Arina Zabalenka, the Australian Open champion. She's seeded number 2 for Wimbledon, and he gave me a great rundown of what life is like for him at an event like this. It sounds pretty hectic. And if your players are all playing on the same day, you've got a lot of reports to pull together within a very small time frame. But no, he was really good to see and really good to catch up with. He's got some great ideas for what tennis in general can be doing to increase the insights for tennis players. Because and after chatting with him and hearing about his ideas and hear what else is out there, it sounds like he's seriously at the forefront of analytics in tennis. And the most incredible thing about this is no one's really taught him how to do it. He's just kind of come up with his own methodology to it. And it was funny because some Australian came over and started chatting to me and seeing my kit, and I was in the middle of the conversation with Shane at the time, and then he started chatting to Shane. And he became more interested in chatting to Shane very, very quickly, given what he had found out about what Shane does. And eventually he went off to go get a drink. He said, "Oh, nice to meet you." And then he points to Shane and goes, "You're interesting. I'm going to listen to that podcast." So Shane was our first episode of the year. He's in episode number 227. If you interested in data or just interested in how someone starts their own business in sport, he's a fascinating guy and a very good listen. So I'd recommend go listening to that. But that was Wimbledon.
Nice. Well, it sounds elite, to be honest. Very keen to get there. I remember one time I was in London. I made the bizarre decision not to go. I think because of the line, but I regret that. Which means I'll just have to go back. So it does sound awesome, but I reckon you just have to be switched on and you're there to watch the tennis. You're not there to do anything else. It's not like Australian Open where, I'm not going to lie, I've gone to the Australian Open a couple of times and not watched a tennis ball. But this is tennis and this is serious stuff. So strap in.
That's it. What about you? How's life in Melbourne at the moment?
Mate, life is good. It's pretty same old. Not a lot to report. I guess the weather's very different here. For those here, it's 13 degrees most days and raining. But no, it's been good. Last couple of days, I went to Torquay. Those who know me reasonably well know I love Torquay. So I went down there over the weekend, which was fantastic. Believe it or not, Rubes, I've returned to the football field.
Amazing.
Which is both scary yet exciting. But, I'm not even sure if I'm going to play yet, but I've been training down at Spotswood Footy Club. So made the switch from uni blues, which is sad, I suppose, but the convenience of Spotswood Football Club, I'm not joking, it's like a K from my house, so that is going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully, I'm coming from a long way back, but hopefully get a game in the next couple of weeks, so that's good. But I thought there was something sort of missing with my like sporting relationship with sport, and I haven't, like, since I've stopped playing footy, I've started playing golf. But golf is very like individual, and it's not very like competitive. And I felt like I was just missing like a team environment, missing a good way to sort of switch off, and also to obviously do something physical as well. So I thought, why not go down and have a kick? I must say the first training session, I've never been more nervous in my life. Like, I'm not sure if there's many people out there who have gone to a new football club at the age of 28. But I know 2 people there, and the first training session I went there, they were both not there. And I had to essentially walk in. I'm the only person not wearing spotty kit. And I just, again, I stood out, no doubt, and I just felt so awkward. But thought about it, and I was like, the lesson I take in a networking setting, I tried to bring it back to what we talk about. And I played the game of like, I can speak to someone as soon as you can. Like, what's the quickest amount of time it can take me to speak to someone? And I just went and spoke to the coach immediately. So that eased a lot of the anxiety. But, so I'm about to run off to that, which is fantastic. But otherwise, it's all pretty good. There's a bit of a lull in the footy season. So everyone's a little bit flat at the moment, off the bye. But otherwise, it's all going okay. We're surviving, you being on the other side of the world, which is fantastic.
Excellent.
So yeah,
I love that you've gone back to footy in winter. That's when people drop off.
Yeah.
You're doing the opposite, and you're just starting up.
I used to always think like footy season is amazing in like April, May. And then you go through that like really cold period, and then you come out the other end, and it's like you're either playing finals or you're not, and that's when the sun comes out again. So I've essentially just bypassed the best part of the season and decided to get down in like late June, July, and I'm about to go through that really cold period. So yeah, I've certainly not done it the right way, but I thought if I don't do it, it's going to be April until I go down again. So yeah, but I don't look forward to the cold. I'm a fair weather footballer. I think you can figure that one out. But nice. We'll see how we go. The old dog might have a few tricks left, so we'll see.
I reckon you've got him in you, and I like that you're like the person at a meetup who goes down by themselves, absolutely cacking their dacks, but makes a very good effort anyway. Yeah, and you've clearly listened to the networking tips we've been sharing as well. You've found common ground with someone. You've spoken to someone immediately. You've got something in your hands, I'm sure, whether it's a drink or a football in this case. You're not standing there looking awkward.
Always have a footy in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, it sounds like you've made an impression well.
Yeah, it's a really good analogy. It's like, it's the person who goes to the meetup on their own, but then comes out like thinking that was amazing and like 10 new mates. So hopefully that is the same thing that'll happen here. But we will see. We will see. But no, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a bit of fun. So
awesome. Good stuff, mate. Well, it's good to see you back in there.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep you updated with how I'm going. And also, I'm just counting down till a calf goes. That's the main worry I have right now. It's just when. It's not if, it's when. And I probably average a calf and a hamstring a year at the moment. So,
and is there a Spotswood equivalent of Peter Bruckner rolling around? Because I think you're going to have upset our former podcast guest from 112 now that you're no longer playing at his beloved football club.
I hope he doesn't know. That's my plan. Just don't really make it public, even though I'm talking on our podcast about it. But there is an equivalent. I'm not sure. There's a great staff down there. I don't know their names yet. I'm sure I'll be familiar with them very soon, as I need treatment on something. But I'll be sure to get them on the pod, though. I'm not sure that they've been CA doctors and Liverpool doctors and whatnot, but we'll be quickly acquainted, I would have thought.
Excellent. Well, Peter, if you do listen, please send us a message and let us know what you think of Ryan.
Yeah. Hopefully you're not listening to this one, Brookie. Alrighty, mate. Well, it's good to see that you are alive and kicking. Wimbledon's amazing. Meetup was amazing. To keep it up, I believe you're off to France the next couple of weeks, doing just some incredible places. So enjoy that. Do you want to share where you're going?
Yeah, heading to Belgium for a bit, then heading to Paris, then heading to the French Alps for the Tour de France. So, taking a little bit of time off to just switch off, refresh, and recuperate a little bit, and then enjoy a bit of France during that period, and then we'll be floating through the rest of France and into Spain and Portugal after that.
Sounds absolutely awful. Well, keep us up to date. Enjoy, and we'll definitely catch up soon after. I want to hear how all that is. In the meantime, if any of our listeners want to ask us any questions at all, or ask our friends in sport a question, sign up and become a member today. You heard before all the success that is happening inside the community at the moment. So jump on board. Each week we have virtual events where it's an open floor for you to ask us or any industry professionals any of your questions. So tonight we've got speed networking, which is one of our favorite sessions that we run. All our members get to meet one another and meet new members and meet other people working in the industry. So get involved with that. When we do have virtual sessions where we have people coming in, we record those sessions. So when you sign up and become a member, you get access to all sorts of exclusive content ready for you to level up on your way to working in sport. So find us on LinkedIn, give us some love with a rating if you enjoy the show, and subscribe on Apple and follow on Spotify. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, one last thing before you go. If you'd enjoy a quick email from us each Friday on all the latest job openings, networking events, Q&As with industry professionals, and latest podcast episodes, then subscribe to the SportsGrad newsletter. Head to our website, www.sportsgrad.com.au/newsletter to subscribe. There's also a link in our show notes to join.